Good evening. This is a video, as promised, on the one-sided bowler. In fact, it's a tribute to the one-sided bowler. There are many of us in the world of bowls. I'm not poking fun at those bowlers because I've suffered from that affliction myself. And it's quite frustrating, I have to say. And it's by definition, it's the fact that you only bowl backhand. You never bowl forehand, usually. Occasionally, it's the other way around. People only bowl a forehand. But I'll say why I think it's backhand in a little while. But it happened to me, and what happened, I was okay. I was okay for a long while in my career, and then I had a break. And then I came back, and I specialised in being a lead bowler or bowling singles. So therefore, I just chose the hand which I felt was slightly more comfortable. Not much in it really, and generally that was a backhand. But as the weeks and years and months went on, I just started bowling backhand nearly all the time. It just seemed easier to do it that way. And then when I wanted to switch in games, I found that I couldn't bowl it. I was doing something odd. I either was pulling it across, or I was bowling it a bit narrow, and I was even doing a different delivery, a different kind of flick or different. So it made it worse and worse and worse. Now, you can get away with bowling one hand when you're lead and you have two bowls, but when you're down the rink, you need to bowl different hands. And obviously, skip, you have to bowl a lot that way too. But there are people who won't even change when they bowl down the rink. I've come across some, and they usually backhand, and you indicate to them, you say, yeah, right, it's this way, isn't it? Come forehand, or you actually say forehand, and they stand on the mat, pretend they haven't heard it, and just bowl backhand. It's incredible because they consider, what's worse, being told off by the skip or bowling on my bad hand and doing a rubbish bowl, and they just choose their normal bowl anyway. But I'll say it had happened to me. I don't really remember when it started exactly or when it ended, but it kind of creeps up on you. But I found at a certain point it had got so bad that I thought I've got to sort this out, which I did, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Why does that happen, you ask yourself? Well, it does creep up on yourself. It's like when people, I don't know, they end up stooping over like that. It's because they haven't walked straight all their life. It's something gets inside of you. Um, One of my previous videos was on pulling the bowl and why do we do it? And I said, well, it's partly a natural movement to go across your body like tennis players or golf players. Another reason is that you have to bowl slightly wider on the forehand to allow for your width on the mat. So people tend to go a bit narrow. And because of that, the bowl has to go wider. So you could say it's more difficult if it goes wider to get onto the jack. The other thing is that about pulling the bowl, that you're pulling it into the field of play. You've got to be bold and bowl kind of outside the field of play, and that doesn't always happen. So if there is a hand that's harder to play, generally I would say it is the forehand. That's why people do favour backhands to the extent that they start playing it and stick to it, and then they stick to it so much they find it they can't change back. I found it very annoying at the time because I thought there's no logic to this. The bowl, your grip's the same, your delivery's the same. You move your leg in the same way. So there is obviously a slight bias on the bowl, but that's so insignificant that it should make no difference at all. And it made me wonder why it happens. So here are some of the reasons. Well, indoors in particularly, there are several reasons why players might favour their backhand, apart from the ones I've just said. The backhand, it seems to provide a more predictable line for the bowler because the bias is a bit stronger on the forehand because you've got to go wider. So you find that it's slightly easier to control that shot. And many people feel they got a better control of arc and weight on the backhand. Conversely, the forehand path can feel a bit wider and it's harder to bowl wider out. You're going further out into the next ring, for example. Once you've started doing that, in your mind, your muscles kind of repeat everything. So everything about your body, your muscles, your mind is backhand, backhand. And then something clicks there that, forehand's different. One hand you've got confidence in, the other hand you haven't got confidence in. So in competitive play, many bowlers stick to their most reliable hand. They don't want to appear foolish, so they think, "Oh, I'll play the safe bet. I'll go that way," and then the opposite hand, the forehand, usually gets rusty and they can't play it. So I just mentioned somebody, John from Spain, who sent me a comment a couple of days ago, and so it just shows how far the video's spreading in Europe. And he said he has a 90% use on his backhand, and I thought that's just what I'm going to do a video about. So I advanced this video and brought it in because I love to respond when people send in comments. What did I do? I tried to do all the sort of things I've said, like I re-examine my grip and the follow through down the line, and try and get the foot. Ignore the playing area there. You're bowling out there, and I tried to relax, convince myself the delivery was exactly the same, but that didn't always work. So I tried a couple of tricks to fool myself. So what I did, I went on the mat and I said, right, I've got my grip, I've got a forehand grip, I'm going to bowl down the forehand, but in my mind, I'm going to think I'm bowling a backhand. I'm going to think I'm bowling it out there, out onto a rink out there. I'm going to fool myself, I'm going to think it's a backhand, even though it's a forehand. So that's what I did. I kind of aimed out there and I went out and I thought, this is going to be a backhand. So I convinced myself it's a backhand. And then hopefully the forehand works just like the backhand. So that's one thing I did. And not too bad. In fact, I went too wide on that. But you get the drift. The second thing I tried is something that I suggested when I was talking about control of length, and that is shut your eyes. And the object is you're on the mat, you've got your grip right, you've got your aim right, and then you just think, you close your eyes, and what you're doing is you're just thinking, all I'm doing is delivering. You know, I'm not seeing forehand, backhand, there's no problems there. I'm just thinking a blankness. So that's what I did. I'll give you a demonstration. So I just aimed down there, then I closed my eyes and just bowled it. And then there was certainly no pulling and no, what's the word? There was no deviation, no change of delivery from forehand and backhand. That's the objective. So you could try those sort of things and see if they make a difference to you, and the other techniques. And tell me if any of this resonates with you, that you do have these problems. If you had these problems, what have you done to combat them? It really is best to sort it out as soon as you can to become an all-round bowler. So thanks for listening to me. Those of you who've liked it, please say you've liked it and subscribe. All those people that have subscribed have really encouraged me to carry on with these videos, and I've got lots more to do. I've got one on mat placement coming up, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.